In 1959, America was living the dream of the post-war era. Highways were expanding, suburbs were rising, and every family wanted a station wagon, the ultimate symbol of comfort and pride. But among the countless cars cruising down Route 66, there was one wagon that made everyone turn their heads: the 1959 Chevrolet Kingswood. It looked like a spaceship from the future, with rear fins stretching wide like bat wings and a body so long and sleek it bordered on the surreal. Yet behind that dazzling appearance lay a little-known story, a bold experiment by General Motors that was both a design masterpiece and a victim of its own daring ambition. Today, we'll brush off the dust of time to uncover the forgotten secrets of the 1959 Chevrolet Kingswood, the audacious wagon that GM once wanted the world to forget. By the late 1950s, America was roaring like a machine that couldn't be stopped. Station wagons had become an essential symbol, not just transportation, but a declaration of the happy generation. Chevrolet understood that better than anyone. From the Bel Air to the Nomad, the company had already captured American hearts with practical and friendly wagons. But by 1959, General Motors wanted to take a bold new step, to create a wagon that wasn't just functional, but carried the elegance of an Impala. And thus, the Kingswood was born. Positioned between the Bel Air and the Nomad, the Kingswood was envisioned as the family car with class. Refined enough for the successful father, comfortable enough for the whole family, and stylish enough to make the neighbors envious. In a decade when most station wagons still looked boxy, safe, and purely utilitarian, the Kingswood arrived like a visual shock. With its batwing rear fins, long and low stance, the car looked like it was flying even when parked. The twin teardrop taillights, dazzling chrome front bumper, and sculpted sidelines gave it a design language that the press at the time called space age on wheels, the future on four wheels. The flat hood, stretched roofline, and gently curved rear glass created a seamless sense of space, a rare quality among family cars. In fact, many mistook the Kingswood for a wagon version of the Impala, as they shared the same body frame and nearly identical styling cues. However, that very futuristic design confused many buyers. They wanted a simple family wagon, yet the Kingswood looked more like a concept car built for an auto show. Some admired its daring looks, while others felt it was too much for a family car. And the moment you opened the door, it was clear this wasn't an ordinary hauler. It was an Impala disguised as a wagon. The softly curved dashboard, bright aluminum trim, and massive two-spoke steering wheel evoked the cockpit design language inspired by aircraft interiors, a hallmark of the late 1950s. The long bench seats were upholstered in premium cloth or two-tone vinyl, complemented by sparkling chrome accents that shimmered under sunlight, making the cabin feel radiant and alive. The Kingswood could seat up to 9 adults across its 3 spacious rows, with the rear bench folding flat to reveal an enormous cargo area. Truly a family car of the American dream. Chevrolet even offered luxurious options such as the Wonderbar automatic tuning radio, dual-zone heater, and Frigidaire air conditioning, amenities that many luxury sedans of the time still lacked. All these details made the Kingswood far more than a typical station wagon. It wasn't just built to serve family life. It was built to reflect the status and success of its owner. Although it carried the reputation of a family car, the Kingswood was equipped by Chevrolet with engine options typically reserved for high-performance lines like the Impala or Biscayne. The standard version used the 235 cubic inch Blue Flame inline-six, a durable, smooth, and efficient 6-cylinder that produced about 145 horsepower. But for those who craved real power, Chevrolet offered the 283 cubic inch TurboFire V8 with output up to 230 horsepower, enough to haul the whole family and luggage across America without feeling sluggish. However, the Kingswood's trump card was the 348 cubic inch turbo-thrust 5.8, capable of anywhere from 250 to 350 horsepower, depending on carburetor configuration. The tri-power triple carburetor variant once turned the Kingswood into a muscle machine in wagon clothing, with enough punch to accelerate alongside the earliest muscle cars. What few people know is that some Kingswoods were used by police departments and drag racing teams as sleeper cars, looking docile yet strong enough to take down a Thunderbird or a Fairlane in a straight-line run. Driving a Kingswood was a study in contrasts. On paper, this was a wagon weighing over 4,200 pounds and stretching nearly 18 feet long. Yet once started, it felt as if it were gliding on clouds. Part of that came from the new X-frame chassis, a design Chevrolet introduced in 1958 to lower the center of gravity and increase ride comfort. The soft coil spring suspension helped the Kingswood soak up most road imperfections, leaving passengers barely aware of vibrations. Power steering was light, and four-wheel drum brakes were adequate, though they required an experienced driver to manage the car's considerable mass in tight corners. From a technical perspective, the Kingswood was born not to race, but to cruise with the 348 V8. This wagon could sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in about 9 to 10 seconds, an impressive figure for a family car in 1959. Out on the highway, it ran smoothly and quietly, true to the spirit of American luxury on four wheels. However, after just 1 year, the Kingswood name disappeared entirely from Chevrolet's lineup, with no ad campaign and no farewell, as if it had never existed. The reasons came from several directions. First was the controversial Batwing design. In 1959, people marveled at its difference, but by 1960, tastes had shifted, and buyers wanted cleaner, less flamboyant lines. The Kingswood, with its tail stretching wide like airplane wings, suddenly became yesterday's news after a single summer. Second, its price placed it in an awkward middle ground, more expensive than the Bel Air, yet not upscale enough to compete with the Ford Country Squire or Chrysler's premium wagons. Third, GM barely promoted the Kingswood, pouring its entire budget into the Impala, the model delivering record sales. When 1960 arrived, the Kingswood name was replaced by the Nomad and Brookwood. Both sold better, yet lacked the boldness that once made the Kingswood a one-season star. Though it existed for only a single year, the Chevrolet Kingswood left a deep and lasting impression on the history of American station wagons. It was more than just a car. It was a witness to the era when General Motors dared to break every convention, when every panel of steel and every sculpted line embodied the desire to reach for the future. The Kingswood laid the first foundation for Chevrolet's later luxury wagons, such as the Impala wagon, Caprice wagon, and Kingswood Estate of the 1960s and 1970s. Even with its short life, its rebellious DNA continued to flow through later generations. The long silhouette, the low roofline, and the feeling of a yacht on four wheels that combined practicality with prestige. Ironically, the Batwing styling once mocked as excessive has since been celebrated as an icon of the jet age, a time when Detroit didn't just build cars, it built dreams from metal and chrome. At classic car shows today, whenever a 1959 Kingswood appears, crowds gather around. They're not just admiring a car, but an era that once believed the future could be shaped from steel. Yet behind that glamour lies a lesser-known truth. The Kingswood is so rare that it has nearly vanished from reality. Produced for only 1 year with about 20,000 units, it became one of GM's rarest wagons of the 1950s. Two main configurations, 6-passenger and 9-passenger, were both based on the long Impala chassis. The 9-passenger version was especially favored for its fold-flat rear seats, turning the rear area into a massive cargo space that made it both practical and elegant. Chevrolet offered 2 transmissions, the 2-speed Powerglide and the 3-speed Turboglide. The Turboglide was pioneering technology at the time, but its limited durability made buyers cautious. Add to that the Kingswood's heavy weight and high price, and many were later repurposed as police cars, ambulances, or tow vehicles. As a result, surviving examples today are exceedingly rare, especially those equipped with the 348 Tri-Power 5.8, the engine that turned the Kingswood into a true sleeper wagon. Today, a fully restored Kingswood can command prices of $70,000 or more, while modern Restomod builds, featuring LS engines, air suspension, and chrome finishes, sometimes reach $100,000. In recent years, the Kingswood has reappeared in films, TV series, and YouTube videos set in the 1950s and 1960s, becoming a rolling symbol of the American dream. Renowned collector channels such as Jay Leno's Garage and Motor Week Retro Review have called it one of the most beautiful station wagons ever built. The modern custom scene views it differently, as the perfect blank canvas for creating lowriders or restomods. With its long, low body and abundant chrome surfaces, the Kingswood embodies the essence of Detroit custom culture, where nostalgia meets rebellion. On Instagram and at vintage auto exhibitions, young enthusiasts now praise it as forgotten classic beauty. Every photo, every reflection of sunlight on its chrome evokes an America long gone, a nation that once believed a car was more than just transportation. It was a moving dream. From a forgotten model, the Kingswood has become a resurrected symbol of mechanical nostalgia. It proves that what time once buried sometimes only waits for a new generation to rediscover and reignite into brilliance once again. And when you see a Kingswood gliding down the road today, you're not just seeing a relic of the 1950s. You're seeing a message from the past. That beauty and boldness, when born from belief, never truly disappear. If you've made it this far, you've probably felt what Chevrolet once believed, that even a family car could carry within it the soul of art and boldness. The 1959 Kingswood wasn't just a product of steel and chrome. It was proof of an era when people dared to dream of the future, dared to ask, what if we did things differently? And now, that question is for you. If you had the chance to revive a forgotten icon like the Kingswood, would you keep its classic charm or turn it into something entirely new? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read every story, every memory you share, because it's those memories that keep machines like the Kingswood alive. Don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share this video with those who still love the roar of classic cars. See you in the next video.